Hi, Osman. Let's take a look at what you wrote here for us today. Online communication, more common than face-to-face meetings. Let's see. Experts who represent the developing and developed world have raised some concerns regarding the current prevalence in relaying information online over the conventional face-to-face conference in recent times. In my opinion, electronic communication play some undeniably vital roles in the 21st century workplace. In this essay, I will cite some examples from Oxford University and LinkedIn to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, let's see. So I kind of felt like this was awkward here. Look. So you definitely tried to paraphrase, and I absolutely appreciate that. You do need to do some paraphrasing here, but I felt like this particular attempt was a little overcomplicated. Um, Regarding the current prevalence in relaying information online. Yeah, it was too wordy for me. Maybe we could have done something else here. Let's see. Have raised some concerns regarding the trend in relaying online, the trend in relaying information online over uh, conventional face-to-face meetings. Okay. Maybe something like that would have been better. Again, I'd like to see it written to see if I prefer it, but I think it's at least a little less wordy. All right, and then I was a little concerned about this. You said electronic communication plays, and I didn't really like this. It plays some undeniably vital roles. The problem with this expression is a couple of things. I felt like some of the language is a little unnatural. Like you don't really say that it plays multiple vital roles. It plays a vital role. But it's not only that. I feel like your statement here kind of oversimplifies things. This isn't, and you know what? This is something that a lot of students do with this essay. They oversimplify it to be like, okay, online communication good, face-to-face meetings bad, or this is what's good about online communication, and or this is what's not good about online communication, and this is what's not good about face-to-face communication. So something like that. But that's not entirely what this is about. Okay. So, what you want to do, and the reason why I'm going into so much detail is because you definitely want to show the examiner from your introduction you've understood the task and that you're going to focus on the task and not some other area kind of peripherally related to the task. Okay. So, to do that, you would have had to say, in my opinion, the shift towards electronic communication is a positive step in the 21st workplace. Okay, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about this shift. We're doing more and more online communicating than we are face to face. So, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Our communication more and more and more is online, whether that's through chats, whether that's through Zoom calls, whether that's through email, but it's all moving online and we're doing less and less of this face to face stuff. Is that good or is that bad? Okay. Are there advantages to this? Are there disadvantages? That's even more specific. Okay. This is what you're supposed to talk about. And so your introduction needs to reflect that because right now it looks like you kind of oversimplified. All right. Now this is really interesting. You wrote a lot here. Let's see. There is ample evidence that supports the idea of online communication being more efficient in every way possible as compared to physical conference, and one main reason is cost effective. All right, good. This is a great start. Undoubtedly, to participate in a face-to-face, careful with your grammar, please. To participate in face-to-face discussions requires not only money to be spent to travel, but the cost of food and staying are also there along with other expenses. Whereas with an online video conference, all you need is a computer or a mobile phone that has a working internet connection. Wow, that's a long sentence. Look at it. It goes, hold on, it goes from here all the way down there. Too long. Too long. It's so easy to make a mistake in a sentence like this. And also, it's hard for the reader. It's the kind of sentence that a reader is going to have to read at least twice to make sure it's accurate and to make sure that they understand it. Okay. You could have split it up like here, perhaps. Okay. Furthermore, there are other expenses where maybe you could say full stop here and then say, in contrast, with an online video conference, all you need is such, etc. So you should have broken it up in one of those places. Now you keep talking about conferences, physical conference, and then here again, online video conference. You can use the word meeting, all right, because to me, conference is something a lot more, it's like a bunch of meetings. It's like a bunch of, um, it could be like a half day or an all day or a multi-day event where there are different meetings, there are different sessions happening, et cetera, et cetera. So using the word conference shows like you're kind of limiting this, whereas the word meeting is much broader. Okay. Another reason, all right, you don't put a comma here. Another reason is that information is easily accessible through any device and platform. And this consequently leads to an increase in productivity and efficiency. Okay. Due to information communication being made easily and readily available, you just said easily accessible, and I was saying easily available. All right, it's a little too similar, but okay. You could have just said being made readily available, and that would have been fine. Employees working at different levels can see each other in real time and communicate about different ideas to collaborate on an ongoing project. For example, a recent empirical research, get rid of A. Research doesn't need an A. Study does, research doesn't. So, recent empirical research by Oxford University demonstrated that let's try that again. Due to the latest rise in workplace communications via digital media, many companies have been able to save about 60% more money from cutting down on travel and feeding allowances, and have also reported seeing an increase in productivity and efficiency. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that there is a considerably strong case to be made in favor of institutions leaning more towards digital communication. I like your last sentence. What I don't really love is this. Let me tell you why. Because this idea about saving money on travel and food, well, not really feeding, and on food allowances, it belongs more up here. So what you have is idea number one, and then you have idea number two, and then you put all your support here at the bottom, when in actuality, this highlighted statement is supporting this thing up here. And so that's where it belongs. It doesn't belong all the way down here. I know that's one way to do it, but I feel for sure, and I feel very firmly that in terms of logical progression of ideas, that when you present an idea, your support for that idea must come directly after it. It shouldn't come down here at the bottom. Okay, so I would encourage you to do that. When you present an idea, right after that idea, explain why, explain how, give your support. Okay, this was a really good paragraph. Other than that, really well written. You had a lot of nice examples. And my concerns that I expressed to you in your introduction, you've kind of gotten rid of them. This was definitely about what it was supposed to be about. It's this shift that we have towards online communication, and you did some nice comparisons with face-to-face meetings. So you did it exactly what you should. Okay. However, there are potential drawbacks to companies not participating in man-to-man discussions. Careful with that word. We don't really use it. Just say face-to-face. It's fine. Again, no comma here. You don't use it. The main reason is that with face-to-face, there's face-to-face communications. Okay, you could have just said in person. The main reason is that with in-person communication, it is easier to establish trust. Admittedly, trust is an important element of workplace relationships. And communicating face-to-face can show colleagues how others have their best interest in mind. They can observe each other's body language to determine whether they are being transparent, and this can increase credibility. Great. For example, comma, in a survey published by LinkedIn, no, careful with your grammar. Let's try it again. For example, comma, no in, a survey published by LinkedIn showed that, no comma, 90% of deals won by a number of companies were proven to be as a result of their face-to-face participation. Consequently, it is possible to state beyond what? Beyond doubt that the biggest drawback to online communication is the inability to read body language, singular, and transparency in order to build trust among employees and also between clients and employees. Okay, how about amongst employees and also between clients and I don't want you to use the word employees again. So maybe you could have used a different word instead. Oh, how about this? You could have said colleagues, okay, amongst colleagues and also between clients and employees. That would have been okay. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that the merits of online communication are invaluable for an institution. Nevertheless, companies may face challenges in maintaining close relationships with their customers. Okay, this is really good. This is, this is how you're supposed to deal with it. You understood it, you did it correctly, you didn't oversimplify, you understood that the focus was on online communication, and then you made appropriate comparisons with face-to-face communication. And so I liked it. I thought you did a really good job in terms of task achievement. Little other things, okay? Again, just keep in mind what I told you about the introduction. The introduction really needs to accurately represent what your body paragraphs are going to talk about. So, like I said, I thought yours was a little bit of a red flag. I was worried that you were going to oversimplify. I was proven wrong, so I'm thrilled about that, okay? All right, let's take a look now at your task 1. Okay, this is a rather simple pie chart, so let's see what you did with it. The given pie chart provides data regarding the popularity of 7 courses, namely, okay, and you name them, that's a good idea, in German schools in the year 2017. Fine. At first glance, it is evident from the charts that physical education represents the most preferred subject, while IT was the least studied subject in the given year in question. Okay, well, I don't know if you needed to say in the given year and in question. You didn't really need to say both of them. In the given year, done. Or in the year in question. Not both. It's a little bit of overkill. It is clearly seen that PE accounted for 22.9%, which makes up, no, not makes up for it. That's the wrong phrasal verb here. So it's not what you want. You want to say something else. Which makes it the most popular subject in the German school, followed by history, which was just 0.5% less. In the year 2017, the popularity of maths and physics in Germany accounted for 37.6% collectively. Okay, we'll talk about that. In regard to biology, geography, and IT, the prevalence of biology stood at 7.1 in 2017, while geography made up almost double the figure for IT, which marked the least favorite, get rid of 4, among all 7 subjects in the German schools. Okay, now this is a PDF, so I can't do a word count. I'm not sure if this was 150 words. It looks like it might be, but I'd be curious to see what the word count is. It's interesting. A lot of times in IELTS, we get questions that have a lot of information, or maybe they have like 2 charts or something, okay? And what you really need to do is you need to consolidate and condense a lot of information. However, there are some times when in IELTS, you get charts like this, which don't have a lot of information. And what you then need to do is you need to find a way to extend. Okay, you need to find a way to extend, make connections, so that you can show a well-developed answer. I felt like you wrote this very well, but I felt like you missed some opportunities to extend. So if this were part of a larger diagram, so say for example, there was like a table with it, or there was like a, a line graph or something, then you would have been okay with this kind of a description. But if this is the only chart in your task 1, then I felt like you needed to do a little more. So let me show you what I mean. I was okay with this. I think you did fine. And then followed by history was just 0.5% less. Now here, what I think would have been nice is if you had talked about them then collectively. So what you could have said is something like, together, the 2 most popular subjects accounted for nearly 50% of the total subjects preferred. So that would have been a nice kind of statement there. Then here you did exactly that with maths and physics, but you missed an opportunity to get into some detail about those subjects separately. Okay. And I would have liked that. So you had maths coming in at just under 20%, and you had physics at just above 18. So there was a 1.4% difference. Maybe you could say there was like a different, like there, yeah, I mean, you could say there was a difference of like 1.4% or something. You can say something like that. All right. But you could have stretched it out a little bit. Then I really like what you did here, talking about geography being double the figure for IT. And that's exactly how you say double the figure. That was great. I'm wondering if maybe you could have done, again, just a little more. You put all three subjects into one sentence. Again, could you have stretched it out a little bit? Okay. But your grammar and all the language was really nicely done. So it didn't really bother me. But like I said, I was interested to see that word count. Let's see. The prevalence of biology stood at 7.1 in 2017. Full stop. The second least popular subject, geography, at 6.7%, made up almost double the figure of IT, or the figure for IT. Okay. So kind of just stretching it out like that. These are the same things that I'm suggesting. Now, again, this isn't something you always need to do, but when you have something like this and there's not really a lot else going on, you do need to learn how to stretch them out. Okay. So great set today. Lovely, lovely. And I can't wait to see more essays. I know it took you a little time. To write us from your previous set. I would really like to encourage you to write a little more often and not leaving such large gaps, because this is how you really can, adopt some of the information you're learning and really assimilate it into your writing. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing your next set of essays. Good luck.